Okay, how far can AI, artificial intelligence, go, and how can it help businesses and corporates with the next marketing campaign? Skinny, you know the guys, has used AI, and one of its customers, it's really creative this, in one of its latest round of advertisement, showcasing what sort of campaign can be done, not just on the cheap, but by using one of its own customers as the Skinny ambassador. I think this is very good. I think it's very smart. That's a world first, and it could change advertising advertisements around the world. How does it work? And who or what is this new ambassador? So let's talk about this with Skinny's Marketing and Data Director, Matt Bain. G'day, Matt. Nice to see you.
Good to be here.
So where did this idea come from?
So Skinny's got a rich history of using its own customers. Like Skinny doesn't want to spend money if it doesn't have to, right? It's all about low prices for our customers.
It's like MediaWorks.
Yeah, a little bit like that. So we've got a history of going, well, why don't we use our own customers because they love us?
Yes.
And we've done things like famous names, and you've seen some of that stuff. So then we thought.
I think it's cutting edge. I think it's really cutting edge.
But we also AI's cool, so we want to do something with that. So then we went, well, let's pull that together. So what if we took in a customer, an actual customer, and then used AI to do something cool? And we thought, well, we could clone them.
Clone them.
Yeah.
So you ask people to apply. You get a huge response.
If you're a really happy customer of Skinny's, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, and you got lots of happy customers.
We had hundreds of them apply, and if you win, you get free Skinny for life, which is a good thing, and you also get digitally cloned.
Yes.
And we use you in our advertising.
And so suddenly you become famous overnight, like you're everywhere.
Just like that, yeah. How
do you digitally clone? How does it work? So you pick Liz?
Well, so first of all, Liz. So if you, for no other reason, watch this for Liz. She's awesome, right?
Yeah.
So she lives on a farm up in the Bay of Islands.
Yeah.
And she put her hand up and said, I'd like to be cloned. Her son actually is into AI, so she knew a little bit about it. And also, she used to work for Spark a long time ago, so she also knew the business. So happy Skinny customer for 10 years. So yeah, we saw her and we went, she's the one.
So you saw it straight away, did you?
Yeah, we was like, she's the one. Yeah.
And so how did it work from there?
So then we said, are you really sure about this, Liz? And she said, yeah. And so then we got her into work with our creative teams, and we had to, there's no one model that you just scan her and it's done. You got to train a voice model. Then you got to take her likeness and 3D scan her. Then you got to get her mannerisms and her
But it is remarkable what you can do, eh?
You can't tell the difference now. Liz can't tell the difference between her and her clone. It's it's incredible.
Wow. And so AI, I mean, you guys are some of the first guys to be doing this, right?
Yep.
So it is cutting edge. What's possible? Do you revert to type, or do you stay with this sort of approach?
So this is new, but we've been doing at Spark, which is Skinny's part of Spark. We've been doing AI for 5-6 years. So we've spent a lot of time going, how do you do this safely? So we had the confidence to go, we can do this, we can do it well.
What were the risks? What did you think?
So the risks are really the same as with any customer data.
Yes.
You need to make sure that what you're doing is safe, doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
Yes.
So it was really about that. And then it was also...
But you managed that stuff from the start.
Yeah, we're good at that, right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing was just making sure that, as we set it up with Liz at the beginning, we wanted the freedom to be able to quite quickly do ads without her, because we've got a clone.
Yes.
So then agreeing with her, what's the guidelines, what's right and what's not, and how do we work.
The flexibility the flexibility it gives you to not wait for someone to be on site, to fly someone down, so we do all that sort of stuff.
So Skinny's all about, like I keep banging on about, low prices.
Yeah.
So we can't be spending huge amounts of money creating ads. So that means we can't create many. Right.
But the image I have of Skinny though is flexible, fast, smart.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Yeah. And quite fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so doing it this way, we go, right, we've done a deal with Liz. Now we can actually spin up ads with Liz in it quickly and cheaply and do more of them. We wouldn't have been able to do that before.
So because you could make this season 1, 2, 3, 4. You could go because you have the clone.
Yep.
You have the image.
Yep.
With her approval, you're away, right?
She can be anywhere. She can be surfing barrels in Hawaii, flying to the moon. You'll see in the ad she turns into a rocket and shoots up into the air and explodes. So really flexible, and the creatives love it, right? Because now if you can imagine it, you can do it.
Yeah. So most people do imagine something.
Yeah.
I mean, most people have something in their brain, and so the AI. Where does this lead us to? Where does this go now? I mean, are we ever going to see a return to what we used to do, or is this going to be the sort of benchmark?
It's kind of still what we used to do, but it's different. So you know how you write a script and you polish everything up front, and then you go and if you're in advertising, you go and make it.
Takes time and money and people.
When you're prompting, sometimes I remember the guys were prompting, and she was a newsreader, and she looked down, and as she looked down, the paper appeared in her hand, and that wasn't an idea, but that's pretty cool. Would we keep that in or not? So the creative process is interesting, and that the AI comes up with things you might not have thought of that you can either keep or cut. Yeah.
No, but the thing about this is the fascinating thing for me is that people in their living rooms and looking at this, they can't tell.
So this is interesting because we had to make sure they could.
Yeah.
Because what we weren't trying to do is fool people.
Yes.
And I actually think there's something really interesting here, which is by going, look, this is AI and this is what it does. we're creating awareness of what it can do, and hopefully getting people to realise this is how good AI cloning is. So be aware of that.
But you're saying but also by saying that, you're saying this is real and it's safe.
Yeah.
It's okay to like this.
Yeah,
it's okay to follow this. This is not. It's not a fraud.
Yeah, it's like anything. There's some dangerous elements, but don't be scared of all of it. There's some really good stuff here in AI, and we need to be leaning into. New Zealand could really do with a productivity lift, right? So actually, for New Zealand as a country,
that's a good point.
Understanding how this helps us is as important as understanding the risks.
So is it a cheaper Is it cheaper in terms of monetary, in terms of what you spend on it?
Yeah.
Is it much cheaper than an ordinary campaign?
To start with, getting the clone and everything, I wouldn't say it's much cheaper. Once you've got it, now you can be really flexible and cheap. You can actually have an idea today and have it live tomorrow.
Yeah.
So the idea that you can actually be very responsive.
Yeah.
And the creative quality is still there.
So do you know the people behind the AI? Do you just deal with the AI, or do you deal with the people behind it?
We do both. So we actually work with technology people and creative people together to go, how do we take the creative idea and the AI technology and stitch that together in a way that looks and feels the way it needs to.
And so how's it changed Liz's life? Like, what did she
She's
tell
pretty
you?
famous.
Yeah.
She's pretty famous in New
Can't
Zealand.
walk down the street?
I think she's pretty famous up in the Bay of Islands area.
Yeah.
We've had an overwhelmingly positive response to this. You know, you're always a little bit like, it's pushing the boundaries. You expect, haters going to hate kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
have you had much hate?
No, we haven't. This is what's been really good. I think we've done it right. We've been really explicit. This is AI.
Yes. But AI's everywhere.
You expect it from Skinny, right? You expect Skinny to do something fun and new and use its customers. So I think because it was an extension of what we were doing, there was enough that wasn't new that people accepted it.
But I think also what's crucial is that you took people with you. So if you take an audience with you, if it's not a shock 6 months later when there's a big headline that says, wow, Skinny used AI, I didn't tell you. It wasn't like that at all. It was you're using it, and that's part of the ad.
The reason we're using it is because we're cheap.
Yeah.
And that's why we're using it, right? That's the reason.
But everybody, but this is where all companies are going and have gone and are going to go, because it opens up, as you say, productivity.
Yeah.
Use of a shortage of funds means you can
be more creative, right?
Yeah.
So now the creative ideas you couldn't have even tested because it would have cost too much.
Yeah.
You can have a go at, and I think it's people are already worried about like what's the downsides. But if we lean in and go, how creative can we be now? We've got this.
So with downsides, but I mean, like, what are they? Like, what could possibly be a downside of if you're upfront about it? What's the downside? That it's not like Jurassic Park where she's going to run out of control and take our lives.
Yeah. Everything has a downside. I'm an optimist, right? So I go, if we really lean into this and we're responsible with it, we can have a lot of fun. We can do higher quality work and more of it. Well,
people are going to expect it also from the brand, because that's what the brand is, right?
100%.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of the future for Liz, is she going to be cloned again and again and again? I mean, is it possible do you need to clone her again, or can you use what you've got?
No, we only need to clone her once.
Right.
And so now we can use the clone probably for the next year or two.
Mm-hmm.
We'll always be moving on to new things, but Liz is with us for now, so we're working with Liz.
Is there a wider application for it within the company? For other things?
We haven't looked at that at the moment. Like there's wider applications of AI everywhere, but we're quite focused on this. So traditional advertising, places like social, where you need to quickly spin up a response.
And you can do all that.
All that stuff we can do.
God, it's just
or we can
just
just use her voice for something. I mean, she could be Santa at Christmas, and you could call up and talk to her, or so we can do interesting things from a marketing perspective.
And so, what's been the feedback from the public? What's the public told you?
People have been loving it. Yeah, like I say, like you always brace and go, what are people going to latch on to? But people have seen the fun in it. They've appreciated the honesty and the response to, like, when you do a campaign like this, obviously, you're doing it to attract more people to the Skinny brand.
And have you
100%.
So seen actual results?
You don't. So it takes a little while before the tills start ringing.
Yeah.
But what we have seen is just the leading metric is engagement.
Yes.
So the amount of engagement has been higher than anything we've done to date around this. So,
but people want, it used to be, I think, in certainly in advertising space, New Zealand was. I'm going back 20 years. We were quite world leading. We took risks.
Yep.
We stuck our necks out. We did all sorts of things that people go, turn away from.
Yeah.
But in the last few years, it's been very mild. It hasn't been confronting. We've sort of stepped back because society doesn't like to be shocked too much. But this is a new way of getting people's attention, I reckon.
It is, and I think we're in a pretty tough time for a lot of people right now.
Yeah.
in those times, there's not a lot of money flying around for creatives to do creative things. And so the ability to democratise what it used to take huge budgets to do,
massive.
It's now going, actually, you don't need to be a huge brand anymore. Now you can do some quite fun stuff, you know.
And so does Skinny plan to do more of this sort of thing? Like, you know, because now you're under pressure to next season. What's the next one look like?
We've only just got started with Liz, right? So
you can't ditch Liz.
Liz is just on the scene now. So we've got some exciting plans going forward for Liz. So you know, keep your eyes open for where she shows up and how she shows up.
And is that her over there or not? You know?
Yeah. Well, it won't be in the future. It'll just be her clone. But we had her and her clone in the initial one just to.
With when people got hold of you and gave you feedback, was there anything in there that where they said, "Oh, this is not real, mate"? You know, that they questioned it?
No, because we told them up front, this is not real, mate.
Yeah.
Like emphatically, we said this is not real because if it was real, it would cost us heaps of money to do all the time.
Yeah.
So this is totally AI, and we made it looks fantastical because we purposely went. Let's make sure people understand this isn't real.
You know, other brands are going to come in and try and they will do this too. Yeah. They'll see the success of it. They'll hear this. They've seen it as well. It's pretty visible.
Imitation is flattery, right? So we'll take that.
Yeah. But do you in any way have to like ink it? You know, can you own it? You can't really, can you?
No, but and we don't want to. Like we want this to be a fun way for New Zealanders to see that AI can be, you know, something that can actually help the creative process.
Yeah.
And so we encourage other brands to do it too. We think it's cool.
And with Liz, does she have anything to do with you guys now? What's the relationship like? I mean, she sees herself everywhere she looks.
We love Liz. We've got a good relationship with her, right? So we stay in touch.
Yeah.
And even though, you know, we don't need her to come in the studio and record things anymore, you know, we still got a relationship with Liz, and she's a friend of the brand. So
you know, asking your own people to be part of the brand's exposure is even without using AI, but asking the people, even that's sort of, I think that's edgy.
Yeah.
And that's worked, eh?
Yeah, and Skinny's always done that, and that's why it's been part of its success.
Cheap.
Yeah. And it's cheap.
Getting your own people. Yeah, but hey, having Skinny for life.
Yeah, so Liz already was a loyal Skinny customer, so Skinny for life, she's probably earned it anyway, having been with us for 10 years.
Yeah. Good to catch up. Yeah. Well done, and good luck with your future success.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Editor-in-Chief with Duncan Garner.